Hello everyone, I am Eric Foyle and I have a Wi-Fi battle for you today against Happiness. Now they lead off with their Auromaros, I think it's pronounced. I'm not entirely sure. I lead off with my Scarf Rotom. Um, I was tempted to go for the Overheat, but I was afraid if I didn't get the KO, Rotom would have taken way too much damage from a Rock Attack. So I switched into Aegislash to take that hit. And they surprised me. Instead of switching out, they actually paralyzed me with Thunder Wave. So that's not too bad considering Aegislash is slow to begin with, but at the same time a poorly timed paralysis can really put me in a hole. So they switch in Blaziken, and they end up being Mega Blaziken. I make a terrible mistake here and use King Shield, expecting them to go straight for the Flare Blitz, and they actually surprise me with Focus Energy. So I thought that was rather strange considering he does get Sword Stance, but Focus Energy does guarantee crits almost, I think. And it also ignores your attack drops, so that could come in handy, I guess, against if the opponent has something with Intimidate. I switch in Rotom to try and paralyze it, and they end up switching out to Lapras. So I go ahead and Volt Switch out to my Sylveon, but it ends up getting Sheer Colded right away. So that kind of stinks. I mean, Sylveon could have helped in the end, but there's nothing I can do about it. I just switch Rotom back in. I use Discharge to finish it off, hoping that'll switch in something like Blaziken to get paralyzed, but he switches in his Ampharos, which I honestly forgot he had. So I'm forced to switch out. I send in my Assault Vest Specially Defensive Tyranitar, because I know it can take pretty much any hit that Ampharos would throw at me. And so he doesn't switch out, so I just finish him off with Crunch. He surprises me with Electro Ball. And I thought that was strange, but he does have Discharge and he does have Thunder Wave support from Aromaros. I forgot how it's pronounced. But yeah, so neither of those attacks deal much damage to me. And he switches in a Xerneas. So I know Tyranitar can take the hits reasonably well, because it is specially defensive with Assault Vest, but I can't really do much back. So I switch in Aegislash expecting a Moonblast, and he has the Horn Leech, meaning that Tyranitar is not going to take its hits very well at all. So he's scared out. He sends in his Blaziken, who does quad resist Iron Head. I'm still kind of surprised at how much damage that did. It's not much, but it's honestly more than I expected to. And I make the same mistake twice, and I go for the King Shield again, expecting him to go right for the Blaze Kick. So he gets another free turn of setup, and a crit Blaze Kick will take me right out. So I switch in Rotom again. I know I could take at least one Blaze Kick, and I need to try and get a paralysis on it. So, but sadly, I don't get the paralysis. I at least get some nice damage off, and I know from this range, I can potentially stall it out with Sandstorm. So, I wasn't sure if he had the fighting attack or not, because he was just going for Blaze Kick against Rotom, so I switched to my Tyranitar just to get the sand up. And I go ahead and switch back to Rotom, because if he does surprise me with the fighting attack, I obviously don't want Tyranitar to take it. So he does reveal he has a Sky Uppercut, and that's going to take Rotom out without any problem. So he's going to die in one turn from Sandstorm, so I just switch in my Chestnut. It does have Spiky Shield, and that is going to finish off the Blaziken. So he's going to switch in his Sigilyph to scare me out. Chestnut is bulky, but he cannot take any flying attack whatsoever because of that 4x weakness. I switch into Tyranitar. He actually goes for the Psychic instead. And he's obviously scared out because, he can't really touch Tyranitar at all. Even if it is one of those weird Flame Orb ones, a burnt Rock Slide is still going to do a lot to Sigilyph. So he switches in Xerneas, which does take quite a bit of damage from that Rock Slide, but I'm obviously forced out. I don't want him getting too much recovery back with that Horned Leech, which is why I switched into Chestnut. So, he finishes me off with Moonblast, which isn't too surprising. And that's Chestnut down. So I switch back into Tyranitar, because I know I could take at least one Moonblast or Horn Leech from where I'm at. And so I barely live it, and I just go for another Rock Slide to get off some more damage. Luckily for me, it does more than healed back, I think. And Sandstorm is going to slowly rack up. He's not going to get much health back at all, because I was obviously low at health when he went for the Horn Leech. So in comes my last Pokemon, which is my Blastoise. So I'm not entirely sure how many Horn Leeches this thing can take, and he ends up taking it decently well for a super effective attack. So I go for the Scald. At this point I really need that burn to finish him off, but I don't get it. So he lives with just some microscopic sliver of health, and he's going to be able to get another Horn Leech off. And I do survive, but at this health I know I'm not going to be able to finish off his Sigilyph. So that's Xerneas out, and Sandstorm damage doesn't kill me, but as I said, Sigilyph is naturally faster, and I don't have any speed invested in this Blastoise, so that's going to end the battle right there.